Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my top 5 contemporary authors. So I decided that going forward I would like to talk a bit more. Obviously I talk a lot about my love for historical fiction, but I tend to tone down my love of contemporary literature, and I think I need to change that because I need to stop getting in the mindset that contemporary literature is frowned upon, or is a literature that because it's contemporary and was previously deemed as chick lit, that it was something wrong about that and that I should be ashamed of my love for contemporary fiction. And you know what? I'm not going to be anymore, because something that I learnt last year was that it's okay to like that sort of literature, and that going forward I'm going to be proud to show both sides of me. So yes, I've done a lot of books on historical fiction and I've done some on contemporary literature, but I would like to do some more. So today I'm doing my top 5 contemporary authors. I'm going to do them in like order. I'm going to do another video in March talking about my why I love contemporary literature, and then I might do a book on my favourite contemporary series. But I would love to know, what videos would you like me to make about contemporary literature? Are there any, would you like me to talk about authors that I need to try? Anything that you'd love to hear, that you would like me to make, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. And yeah, I'm going to celebrate these authors because a lot of the contemporary authors are actually ones that really do sort of, they have newsletters, things like that, and it's quite good fun. So I'm going to go forward and, you know, do that. So I'm gonna, with each contemporary author, I'm gonna do my top 2 books by my top 2 favourite books by them. I'm going to talk about a little bit more about the kind of literature they write, that kind of thing. But I don't want this video to be too long because it's going to be a busy day for me today. But you know, we're going to go forward. So at number 5, oh, I'd love to, you all probably are going to guess which are my top 2 favourite authors, but if you want to guess any that before this video starts, can you let me know in the comments down below what authors you think are going to be in this list? Let me know down below. I would love to hear from you. So at number 5 is Cathy Bramley. I've got 2 books by her that I would like to talk about. Now, she's not an author that I've kept all her books, because some of them have been like 5 stars, some of them have been 4. I've not liked all of her literature. I don't keep all her books, but some of the books of hers I've kept are ones that have really sort of stood out to me. Sorry, cold season. Now, one that I've read ages ago, and it's probably one of the first books by her that really stood out to me, is A Patchwork Family. And I think this book I've talked about in quite a few videos, and that is because it's about found family, which is something that's really special to me. Love, friendship and family come in all shapes, at different shapes and sizes. Gina has been going for the flow for years. She runs a child-minded business from a cottage on the edge of the Evergreens. What I like about Cathy Bramley's is that a lot of her books have linked characters in from different books. So in this book, we have characters that we've met in previous books. I can't remember exactly who, but there are some characters in this that do reappear in other books and have appeared in other books. Now, Gina does actually appear in several of this author's books. I'm trying to think which ones. I think she appears in My Kind of Happy. I know that we've got, I'd love it if these authors actually wrote lists of books they've done. But this book really stood out to me. It was one that I love because of the fact, the fan family. I love the older protagonist that really stood out to me. I just really, really love this book. Why do I keep going back? Oh, I'm trying to think, because I did read this one quite a while ago. But the older protagonists in this are really good, and I am not at all organised to this. But yeah, this is a great book about found family and about like going for your dreams and things like that. This one is one of the ones that I think I'm going to be rereading this year, because it was one that stuck in my memory and one that I really loved. Now, this is one of her most recent books that came out last summer, and this is The Summer That Changed Us. Now, what stood out to me with this book was that the fact that it was the friendships in this book. We've got Katie, Grace and Robin, who, and I read this when I went away on my holiday. I think I read it in like a day or 2 on holiday, because it's a perfect summer read. It's about a sparkling seaside village of Merle Bay, And you've got Katie, who is hiding out from a childhood trauma which left her feeling exposed. Robin, the fresh start in the sea air, is helping heal her scars, but maybe not her marriage. And for Grace, a new start could move her on from a heartbreaking loss. These three friends meet up and they really discover such a great bond, and they really help each other. I think this one is more of a standalone, because I don't think there's any characters in this book that appear in other books. But this was one that, again, I've only read it once, but it's one that really stood out to me. I will also say that she's got Cathy Browning has got a duology that I loved, which is Merrily Ever After and Merry Christmas, the Christmas Project, or the Merry Christmas Project. Now, those are the two books. I read Merrily Ever After at Christmas this year, and the Christmas Project, or the Merry Christmas Project, is one I didn't keep, and I think I may get it because it's a duology, and I don't know if she'll continue with that series. But that was their other two books that I really, really loved. They're really, really good Christmas books, and ones that really stood out to me. I've just read some Cathy Browning, and I think I want to go back and look for more of her other books. For me, her newer books are her best. Some authors have certainly got better the more they write, but some have just been good from the get-go. Which leads me now to my next author, Jenny Colgan. She's in at number 4. Now, I have got a lot of her books, but most of the ones I've kept have been part of series, because I've collected the series. Her earlier literature, I've not enjoyed as much. So she's got books like Amanda's Wedding and things like that. And I found them quite of their time. They were written in the early 2000s. And I've not really bonded with them as much. But she's got 2 series. She's got quite a few series that she's written. Some of them have broken me. So she's got The Beach Street Cafe. She's got this series here, which I can't remember the name of this series. She's got the Bookshop on the Shore series. We've got, like I said, she's got the Rosie Hopkins series, which I'll tell you in a minute. She's got quite a lot of series books, and one of them finished last year, and that was one that ended with An Island Wedding, and that's she's got The Island Christmas and The Endless Beach. So she's got that series. She's got this series, which is the Bookshop on the Shore series, and this is one that I really loved. And I think this is a standalone. I can't remember what The Endless Beach is. You can tell how much I love this, because this one's been on my shelf and it's got a bit of dust on it. But it's The Bookshop on the Shore. I really love this book, and I think this is the first in the series, or it could be the second. I'm really useless at. I need to be looking at planning my videos a bit better. But what I loved about this series is that this first one, the series all have connecting characters. And this first one, Zoe, is a single mother, and she's struggling to cope alone in London. Her little boy Harry, the light of her life, but refuses to speak, and the landlord's just raised the rent on her flat. So when an opportunity arises to move to Scotland and help run a bookshop, Zoe leaps at it. A small village in the Highlands sounds like the perfect escape that she and Harry need. Yet its owner, Ramsay, is moody and distant, and soon Zoe wonders if she's made the right decision. I absolutely love this book. I love the Bookshop series. I think it's a fantastic series, and one that I can't believe how much I loved it. So So here we've got another series. We've got, like I said, our earlier books that are in this. I've not read the Cupcake Cafe series. That's the series I do need to read. I've got that. We've got The Loveliest Book. Oh, one of our earlier books I did love is The Loveliest Book Chocolate Shop in Paris. The Little Street Bakery series is so good. The Seaside Kitchen series is really good, and this series is really, really good. So she's got a new book coming out this year, which I am definitely going to get. I think, like I said, she has closed a couple of series, so I don't know if she's going to write any more series books, but I do love that. I do love the fact she writes series books. Now, the next one is one that is definitely the first in a series, and this is the Rosie Hopkins Sweet Shop of Dreams series, and this is the first one, and in my eyes, definitely the best one. I loved the Sweet Shop of Dreams. I loved the series. I've got all of the series, and I've kept it, and I think this is another series I need to reread. And, it's about a sweet shop, and I love books about sweet shops or cake shops, so I can't wait to read the Cupcake Cafe series this year. Rosie Hopkins thinks that leaving her busy London life and her boyfriend Gerald to sort out her elderly aunt's sweet shop in the small country village is going to be dull. Boy, is she wrong. Lillian Hopkins has spent her life running at Lipton Sweet Shop through wartime and family feuds. As she struggled with the idea that it might be time to give it up, she also wrestles a secret history hidden behind the sweet shop. And I love that because there's a historical fiction, there's a historic history bit in this that is really good. And I love her aunt, I love the older protagonist, I love Rosie, I love the romance, and I love this whole series. It's brilliant. But she does go, like I said, both those two go in a bit lower in the list because their earlier books are not one that I've loved as much as the newer ones. Now, to a newish author, and one that I definitely love, we've got Beth O'Leary. Now, I've got 2 books of hers that are my favourite. She's written The Flat Share, The Switch, The Road Trip, and The No-Show. So yes, she's only written 4 books. She's got another one that's coming out this year, which I will definitely be buying, and I will probably be reading with Ange from Angie's Book Chatter, because we've buddy read all her books. The Flat Share is her first book, and I've got it in paperback, but that is the only one I've waited for in paperback, because the others I've all got in hardback. That tells you how much I love them. Just reread the Flat Share on audiobook, and I've finally got my physical copy of that from Charlie. But my favourite by far is The Switch. Actually, I shouldn't be telling my favourite, I should say my second favourite. And that's her second book, and for me it's one that stood out. I think it's Angie's favourite book as well. And Angie isn't really into contemporary literature, but I know she really loves Beth O'Leary's work. And this has got, you've got a grandmother and a granddaughter, and those two switch lives. So you've got Lena, who escapes to her grandmother Eileen's house for some overdue rest, and she needs a break. She's had a really hard time. Lena is too young to feel stuck. Eileen is too old to start over, and it's time for the switch. And then you've got Eileen, who wants to go back to be young, and she wants to try something else. And she switches lives with her granddaughter, and they face some really hard things, but they're so fun. I love the fact that Eileen goes out and does some really fun stuff with Lena's friends when they swap lives. And when Lena proposes to swap, like, Eileen goes to London and looks for love, and Lena will go look after everything in rural Yorkshire, and she has fun, and it's such a great book. And it's about, like, OAPs on the loose and Lena chilling and really going back and thinking about what's important. And then you've got the mother that's in the middle of it, and she's kind of interlinked as well, and it's just such a great book. It's one I cannot wait. I think I'm going to be rereading this on audiobook. I'm listening to it on audiobook very soon, because, like I said, I found listening to Flatshare as an audiobook was really good, so I want to reread The Switch that way. Now, for me, The Switch is my favourite. The No-Show, which is her latest book that's coming out in hardback. That's now coming out in paperback this year, so go and get that in paperback. She's got a new book that, like I said, that's coming out in, I think, September or October this year, which I will be buying. The No-Show is my second favourite. I think, for me, I like The Flat Share is my third, and then The Road Trip is my fourth, even though The Road Trip's the sort of her third book. I don't know why The Road Trip didn't jump at me as much. This one did, because there are some real twists in this that you don't expect. And I think this one is my second favourite, because I loved it. I cannot describe how much I loved this one. You've got three different times that all 3 women are supposed to be meeting this guy. So you've got at 8:52, Siobhan is looking forward to a breakfast date with Joseph. She was surprised when she suggested it. She normally sees him late at night in her hotel room. Breakfast at Valentine's Day surely means something. So where is he? Then at 12:43, Miranda is hoping to meet that a Valentine's Day with Carter will be the perfect way to celebrate a new job. And it's a fresh start and a sign that life is falling into place. She's been dating Carter for 5 months, and things are starting to get serious, but why hasn't he shown up? And at 6:30, Joseph Carter, kind of see the connection there, has agreed to meet Jane's fake boyfriend in an engagement party. They've not known each other very long, but their friendship is fast becoming the brightest part of the new life in Winchester. Meet Joseph Carter, that's if you can find him. there are some real twists in this. Obviously, you've got the 3 different protagonists, and all the chapters are on the chapters are on from the different 3 women. Personally, I love Jane the most, but I'm not sure if that's because Jane's my middle name, and I don't know if that connection. But I do love all the women, and I see different sides in Joseph Carter the more I read of the different women. And it's some real twists and turns. There's some bits you would not expect. It is such an emotional book, but such an amazing book, and one I thoroughly loved. Now, I will say, with my top 2 authors, my top favourite author has been the same favourite contemporary author. She's probably my favourite author ever for so long. She will message you back when you message her on Instagram. She is a very busy lady. She's the first author that I've collected all of their books. But the second place author is one that I don't know if she could in the years coming up beat my first favourite, because my second favourite author is actually incredible. She's a newish author to me in the fact that I only really started reading her book a couple of years ago, but she is fast beating the first favourite. And that's not in any slaying to the first favourite, it's just her books are getting to me, and I think I need to reread them. They're literally getting to me. And my second favourite, but like I said, could well be a first favourite very soon, is Heidi Swain. And these 2 are the books that I would like to show you. I can't decide which is my favourite out of those 2. The Christmas Celebration is her latest release, and obviously a Christmas book, and it's part of the Winthorpe Hall series. It's the most recent in that series, and it is incredible. It actually won an award. I'm not publicised to say any of this, but it is such a good series. She is another author that's written, I think, 3 series, but she's got a new standalone book coming out in April, which is called The Book Lovers Retreat. I will be buying that. She's got a leading protagonist called Emily. Of course I'll be buying that. She has, I will say there is another book that I've not said another book, but there's a book, it's on my shelves, and she does actually do disability rep, so that was a really close one, and I can't remember for the life of me remember which one it is. The Seaside Escape, I think it's called, and that's got disability rep in it, and that's done really well. And because I did actually ask her when I saw her on a live whether she's got more books with disability rep, because that's something that means something to me. But this book really stood out to me, and that's because she writes amazing older protagonists, which is something that I love. Albert in this is the older protagonist, and he is a great character, and he forms a friendship with the lead character called Paige, who turns up unannounced at Winthorpe Hall. And she discovers the place she knew when she was growing up has changed beyond recognition. I've got a romance. It is quite cosy in the fact that you do get a standard romances. But with this series, you meet characters that you've met in the previous books. I've read all her books. I now own all her books. And this series is a really good series. I love Angus and his wife that run the whole series. They've got, at the end, characters from other books that all come back, and I love that. I just love the cosy feel. I love the community feel. And I love that. This is the one I got sent as an ad PR product for by Tandem, so thank you Tandem. And this is part of the Nightingale Square series, which is another series. Yes, by the way, the book with their disability rep is called The Secret Seaside Escape. That's a brilliant book. I read that series. And this is another, like I said, the Nightingale Square series, which I read all of last year. And I cracked on and read the whole series. This is by far the most recent and my favourite of this. Because again, we've got an older characters in this, which I love. We've got Beth, who works at a care home, and she's got something that happened to her. And she doesn't, so when she gets the opportunity to move to Nightingale Square, sharing a house with their lovely Eli, she jumps at the chance. The community at Nightingale Square welcome Beth with open arms, and when she needs to help to organise the fundraiser for the care home, she discovers the Arches, the local creative arts centre, has closed. She kind of brings that back to life. And the Nightingale Square series is a really good series. It's a real cosy series. It's a real community series. And again, you get characters that are in it, and it's a brilliant series. So I love that. I do say, yes, I did love The Secret Seaside Escape. That's an extra mention because that was a book with great disability rep, great community rep, and great characters. So you're all going to know my favourite author of all time. My favourite contemporary author has to be Paige Toon. And I think you're all going to guess my 2 favourite books by her. I am going to say they're equal favourites. Johnny Be Good will probably go down as my favourite book ever, because, and that's purely nostalgia. And that is because Johnny, in this, it's for starters, it's the only book that's kind of got a sequel and like little mini like novellas that she's written, and it's another one that it's the only book that she wrote a proper sequel to, and it's the only book that I'm begging that she writes a 3rd book in that series. I'm hoping she kind of almost turns Johnny into a series, because I'd love to know what happened, because Johnny in this also appears in her YA series, and it's the only series the YA series that she's written, which is about Johnny Jefferson's daughter, who we appear about, who's like comes out of the woodwork in another book, and that's her daughter. Why can I not for the life of me remember? Jefferson. She has a daughter. He has a daughter, and that appears, and that's his YA series. And I'm trying to think if it's written in here. Jesse Jefferson. She's got a trilogy series that is about his daughter in it, that's come off, and that's a YA series. But it's a YA series, but it's a YA series that I've absolutely loved. But Johnny Be Good it reminds me of, I personally think about Johnny as like similarities to like Robbie Williams and like the rock kind of gods of that time, and like there's so many guys that make me think it's a bad boy rock star, and yeah, Robbie Williams sort of stands out to me. We've also got like John Bon Jovi, that whole rock star, the way he looks, that kind of John Bon Jovi music kind of thing. And this is what it reminds me, because a lot of my youth when I was younger, when I was about like 18, 19, I was listening to that whole rock. John Bon Jovi was like an insta like thing that I loved, and I loved Robbie Williams when he kind of went through that rock god era. Yes, he was like in his own self, he wasn't doing very well, but he kind of, that bad boy, and I had a real thing for bad boys. Not that Chris is like that at all, but you know, I think that's why I liked Chris's, like my Chris has got a goatee, and I like that. I like the facial hair, the real rock, kind of the bad boy, and I had a thing for bad boys. So yeah, that's why I think I love this book. And Meg Stiles goes to work for Johnny Jefferson as her PA, and I don't need to read the back of this book. I know this book. It's one of the books I've read the most. I think I've read it like 3 times, and I probably would happily read it a 4th. I love this book so much. It is just such a great book, and I love the next book in the series, which is Baby Be Mine. I love Johnny Jefferson. He is just the ultimate bad boy, and this is such a good book. And she has got a new book that's coming out in April. I will be buying it, and I will be reading it in May. No question. No matter when I get it. I'm still trying to decide whether I pay extra and get a signed copy, or whether I just buy it from the supermarket because it's going to be cheaper. Do I need a signed copy? Let me know down below. Do I treat myself? But the book she released a couple of years ago, because last year she had a year where she didn't release anything. That was her deliberate thing. That's why we all reread all her books. But her newest book before the one that's coming out is Someone I Used to Know. And this tackles fostering, which is something that's very passionate to me, because as a family we fostered growing up. We've got a then and now storylines about sort of then. And this is like Leah, she's the only blood daughter of her parents, and her parents fostered. At 15, George is the troubled foster brother Leah never asked for. As the angry, troubled boy struggles to come to terms with his circumstances, Leah finds herself getting drawn closer to him. Then we've got Theo, who mysteriously left boarding school and is now at a local state school with Leah and George. When their worlds collide that summer, the 3 teenagers formed a bond that they believe will be unbreakable. Shocking news brings Leah back to Yorkshire, baby daughter in tow, but Emily's father Theo isn't with them, and George has unexpectedly returned. I'm rereading this in February. It's one of my favourite books ever. It's started as I love the colours. It's one of my favourite colours. I just love this book, and I cannot wait to reread it. I do wonder if when I reread it, is it still going to be up there with Johnny Be Good? I don't know. And this video is way longer than I expected. I own just to let you know, I own all of Paige Toon books. I own all of Heidi Swain's books. I own all of Beth O'Leary's, and the others I've kept selected books. That's what I like. What are your favourite? If you like contemporary literature, what are your favourite books, favourite authors? Do you want any advice about which contemporary authors to pick up, depending on your reading tastes? Let me know down below. If you've got any questions about any videos you want me to make about contemporary literature, let me know down below because I would love to hear. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.